Present is Kim, Melanie, myself, Ed, Alan. And the first thing on our agenda is the reorganization of the board. So we'll nominate and then we'll do roll call. So first up would be chair. If anyone had something to nominate.
I'll nominate Alan Diaz,
Okay.
the chair.
And
Are you not looking to,
I'm going to step down. a little.
You're gonna step down?
Take a break.
I'm going to nominate Ed.
Okay, and any other nominations? Okay, so we'll,
Nominate Ed too for chair.
okay, so then we'll go down and vote, so,
You need Kathy, you need a second.
oh, second?
I said,
No, I'll
so-
second.
I put the
Okay,
motion. yeah.
okay, so your motion, okay, so Ed's going to second,
Yes.
so you need to go to that vote.
Okay, so we're gonna vote for chair.
Roll call.
I first, we'll vote for Alan. Alan, yes or no?
Yes.
Ed?
Alan, yes.
And Alan, yes.
Alan, no?
Alan, no.
Okay, so actually that, three, so it'd be 3-2. So Alan, if you accept.
Yes, I'll accept.
And then,
Chair, would you want me to take over the meeting?
do you want, we're just gonna finish
Yes.
going down there?
Correct.
Okay, go right ahead.
We're looking for nominations for co-chair.
I'll nominate Ed. Oh, well, actually, let me pause for a second.
Yeah.
Do you want to, Kathy?
Co-chair?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I'll nominate Kathy.
I second the nomination for Kathy.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. We'll take a roll call. Okay. The nomination is for Ed.
Chair. Kathy, yes.
Kathy, yes, for co-chair.
Yes.
Kathy, yes.
Kathy, yes. Okay, so Kathy's going to be the co-chair. Now, we need a nomination for the secretary.
I'd like to nominate Kim for the secretary.
I'll second that. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, that's not how that works. is
Yes, it does.
It is?
Yeah.
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
so-
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Do you want to go to a roll call?
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
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 That's
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
at the end of the meeting, could I please get your phone number in case I need you for anything?
correct. That's fine. Okay. It being 7:02, actually, our first order of business is a RDA hearing for 25 Crescent Avenue. Do we have anybody in the audience for 25 Crescent Ave? Okay. Madam Secretary, the procedure should be that, if it's okay, to read the hearing notice into the record. That's not a problem?
I don't mind doing it at all.
Okay.
And do we have a copy of the folder? The hearing notice?
I don't have it, so.
Is that that?
Oh, is it this? I thought that was for meetings.
Yeah, that was Kristen.
Mr. Chair, we don't have a copy of it.
We do not have a copy of the hearing notice. Okay, not having any, and you would be Mr. Merchant?
Yes.
Okay, could you kindly present what you're looking to do? Typically, we'd be the hearing notice, but we don't.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So along the back of our property, we,
Can you identify where that property is?
well, it's 25 Crescent Ave in Pembroke, but it butts up to Crystal Lake in Halifax. And so along the back of the property where the lake is, we have a lot of pine trees. And so we've been losing big branches and stuff out of the pine trees that have been hitting the house. And we have some broken siding and other damage. So we'd like to take down the pine trees, leave the hardwood trees, there's some oak and some other trees. But take down the pine trees so that we don't have any more, don't sustain any more damage to the house.
Okay. I'm gonna, did you have any sort of a plan, any pictures, anything that the board can look at? The number of trees that you need?
So Newcomb Tree came out and they looked at them. I think we came, it was like 25 trees.
Okay.
Was the request for photos, was it no one requested? So I feel like we should have been probably notified you wanted photos.
I think that's part of the request for determination, to provide as much information as you can
Yeah.
for the board, because we don't have any information.
Is there a possibility that we could get the notice so that it can be official? Because I feel like it's kind of a disservice to us that you don't have the documentation, so you're not actually able to see it. Can we get a copy of that for you?
I don't think we don't have one.
No, but I mean, you must hear.
Is it on the table?
Okay, just hold on a second, yes.
Is it in the folder?
Do we have a folder?
Yes, we do have a folder for it. It's,
It's right here, isn't it? Yes, it's right here. And Kimberly already looked in the folder and said that it was not in there. But I didn't look for myself.
No, I think did an excellent job. Everything's in order and it's not mistaken in one of the other. I can see that.
Would it have been in an email by any chance? In one of the emails? Because I can look through my email if you think it might be in there. I can pull that up on my phone.
For photos, I mean, we can give you an
Sure.
aerial view.
Aerial view.
I think typically the RDA wants you to,
It's not a notice of intent, so.
what I'm going to suggest, I'm going to defer this to the board. If they want to continue the matter, we provide photos. If she's correct, we should have a hearing notice to determine what's going to be done. You should probably at least have some trees, or, excuse me, some pictures or something like that to sort of give the board an idea as to what you're going to do. And then possibly, maybe some small sketch. How close are they to that resource area?
They're right up against the lake.
So they're within the 50 feet?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's on
Okay.
the ledge.
I'm going to defer that to the former chair, but I believe the
Just for
policy...
informational purposes, we are leaving the roots and we're not going to take off, we're not going to dig everything up and what have you. We need to have the trees down. We're going to sustain considerable damage. We've had many, many rainstorms and unfortunate wind things. Our house and the trees are very close to each other. So the amount of trees that we understand is a lot. We don't want to, but I don't want to have to pay to get my house repaired every time we have something that lands on the house or considerable damage with the siding and things like that. Plus, we have children, it just is, it's a hazard a bit.
May I ask? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, you go ahead.
How much of the tree were you planning on leaving? How many feet of the original tree were you planning on leaving? Because there is sometimes, it's called a snag tree, where you leave a certain footage of the tree, and that provides a resource for wildlife, and a lot of times.
He said
They can-
they can just cut the tops off, but they're pine trees, so there's really, the only branch is right at the very top of it, and the rest of it's just almost like a telephone pole pretty much down. So we were gonna leave the stumps and stuff at the shoreline to hold the bank together, but that was kind of that was it.
So,
I'd like to hear, but Kathy, what your question was going to be, Kathy.
Yeah, I just had two questions. One is, if any of the members of the board wanted to go and maybe take a look at the property, and we can then have a better understanding of it. And also, we were thinking of replanting any hardwood trees. Or any shrubs or anything.
Absolutely.
in
Up to
exchange.
25 trees, 30 trees, whatever, is necessary. But yes, we are, planting on replanting, to give the wildlife an option. It, contributes. So it's, yes, that's definitely. So, as far as a visit, I think that's something we can discuss and get back to someone, as early as probably tomorrow. But Yeah, we can discuss that.
Yeah.
I would personally be okay with just seeing the aerial view photos. And then what your plan is as far as how high and what your plan is for replanting.
Okay.
So, well, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
going off of Melanie's question to you on the snag trees, how many feet would you need not to have damage to your home if we were to require that where you're already within the 50-foot?
I think if we probably leave, like, we could probably leave 40 feet of the tree, and it wouldn't be, if it fell, it wouldn't hit the house or anything like that. It would be plenty of room.
Well, with some of them, it would have to be lower. That's closer to the house.
Yeah, in the back corner. I don't know how close they are in the corner.
It's typically 8 to 15 feet that you would leave for a snag tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 15 feet would be,
We would love
That would be
15
fine,
feet. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is the grade ball?
No, if you take right and go through and follow the wall all the way around to your left, you'll go into the Great Hall.
Is that where the conservation meeting is?
This
This
is
is here.
conservation. Come on in and join us.
Mr. Chairman, I suggested do site visits, since you said about 27 trees, 25 trees. Again, you can't do an area view and say, okay, have someone go out, or 2 people go out, check it out, see which trees they want to, I assume they marked them?
they have not, they didn't mark them yet.
Okay. I suggest they be marked first, so we know which trees you want to take down, do a quick site visit. Okay, you can calculate it's going to hit the house. I think that'd be,
We can have them that come
Yeah,
soon.
they come out.
They'll come out and do that quickly. Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a motion for a site
Continue.
visit?
oh yeah. I put a motion that there'll be a site visit for 25 Crescent Ave.
Okay, does 2 members want to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
Okay,
I can go on Kathy's schedule usually.
okay, that's fine.
Just for official purposes, the home address is 25 Crescent Avenue in Pembroke, but the trees we're talking about are in Halifax.
Okay.
So you need to put in Pembroke when you are putting in the GPS. Don't go down Thompson, please. That's not how to get to the house.
All right, thank you.
I'm familiar with the site, so I won't make a site visit,
Okay.
so. So we have a motion, we had a motion to have 2 members.
I'll
Go.
second Ed's motion.
Okay, so that motion is for 2 members, which is going to be Ed and Kimberly?
No.
No, Kathy.
Kathy and Kimberly.
Be going for a site visit. All in favor? That's unanimous. We would also need to continue this until such time. Do we have some time at the next meeting? Any idea? We can continue at the next meeting.
Well, the meeting after to make it,
Meeting after?
I would say the meeting after to give time for everybody to get out there, they can have the person mark the trees, because sometimes if it's, okay, it's 3 days from now.
That would bring us to June 11th.
Well, it's up to them if they personally.
June 11th.
We have a pretty good relationship on Newcomb. They would come out and mark the trees as soon as possible. So it would be with
Okay, maybe the next meeting?
like a 72-hour, workday, basically, timeframe.
Yeah, because I know,
May 28th would be acceptable to
I
come
would
to our
assume
next
so. I
meeting.
mean, we can confirm with Newcomb and, they're not far, so. And they're aware of the project, they understand we have this meeting and things like that, so.
Okay, we have a motion, or do we have a motion to continue this hearing until May 28th?
I'll put a motion in to continue 25 Crescent Street to our May 28th meeting.
Okay, any second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so you'll contact the office,
Yeah.
secretary, and to set up the meeting, and then she'll set it up with both board members. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 0 Laurel and 0 Thompson Street, Maryland's Landing, continued ANRAD hearing. We have representatives from...
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you kindly, we have an easel,
Sure.
and identify yourself for the record?
Wait a second. Okay. Do you want passing that down?
My name's Mark Anganello, I'm with LEC Environmental Consultants. Commissioners, you'll remember we were before you back in the end of February to initially present this ANRAD for the Lemon property off Laurel Street. Looking to confirm wetland boundaries out there at this time. That's the purpose of the filing. At that hearing back in February, you all voted to have the delineation peer reviewed. Brandon is here from Ecosystem Solutions and can tell you, can summarize his review for you. I can tell you that we revised the plans and revised the delineation based on his comments. So his crew went out to the site, reviewed all of our wetland flags. They had some comments which they provided in a first peer review letter, which basically listed the flags that they disagreed with. They hung new flags in places where they suggested we revise it. We agreed with all of those revisions, and so this plan reflects all of those changes. And you probably can't see from there, but we've shown the old flags in red and the new flags in black, and hashed the area in between. Really, it's here, 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 and here. Here, that were the major changes. They also added the flag down here, off-site, just to make sure all the buffer zone was covered. So I think we're in agreement with the delineation shown on this plan. And with that, I'll let Brandon speak if that's okay with you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, that's fine. Brandon?
Good evening, Brandon Fanup, Ecosystem Solutions. Mark is correct, we are good with the current plan set. We went to the site and hung our own flags, which they picked up themselves, which is again shown in black. The old ones are shown in this, you say red, it looked orange to me, but close enough, right? With the blue hash being the difference between the two, the areas that have been changed. So you got one area here, 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 and here, and then we have this last one way down over here that was added. The property is this dash double dot line right here, and there are a bunch of flags that kind of go off-site. So the flags that can be verified and right over here, pretty much at flag A88. So these flags being off-site cannot be verified. That said, if you need to figure out what the buffer zone is, because you get a 100-foot buffer zone that might come onto the site, I have no problem if you rely on these flags here to figure out what the extent of the buffer
I
zone.
think those the ones you're talking about down the left end of that A series.
Yeah, and these as well.
Yeah,
and these as
the
well.
ones above are over the town line.
Exactly.
They're still on site, but over the town line and not part of this filing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these ones right here are technically off-site, but if you need to rely on the buffer zone, I think you're fine. This A series is a bordering vegetated wetland. The B series down here is an isolated vegetated wetland, as is this one. It looks very big, but it's a pretty flat wet meadow. Neither one of them are going to hold, in my opinion, the required quarter acre foot of water, minimum 6 inches deep, but still jurisdictional under the Halifax Wetland Protection Bylaw. Okay? So I recommend issuing an order of resource area delineation as accurate for the bordering vegetated wetland and the two isolated vegetated wetlands under the bylaw as being accurate. In my report, I spelled out exactly what the flags are, but I think that if you reference the most recent plan dated May 8, 2024 in your motion, I think that'll do it.
Okay, I'm going to reach out to the board. Any members have any questions or concerns? An email will go out with the report from his organization, which substantiates the comments that he made. Anybody have any questions? Is there anyone from the audience that has any questions regarding this ANRAD? Okay. I would be looking for a motion to okay the ANRAD for 0 Laurel Street, 0 Thompson Street, as depicted on the plan by CEC. I can't read the date.
May 8.
May 8th plan from CEC. Someone want to make that motion?
I make a motion that we accept the ANRAD.
Okay, you can say so moved if you want.
Oh, so moved.
So moved,
So
okay.
moved.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
You seconded it. Is there any other discussion? Okay, I will be looking for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Nay? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll be issuing, once we get the appropriate paperwork, then we'll be issuing the NRED. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is 8 Hilda Lane, notice of intent, a continued hearing. Do we have anybody in the audience from 8 Hilda Lane?
Does this go back in it?
Butters. Is there anybody here from Webby Engineering?
Yeah, I think they're going to continue.
Think they're going to continue? Was there?
To June 11th.
There's a notice, because I looked this morning on your website.
Hilda.
Yeah, there was a bunch of emails around because I've been chosen to peer review that one as well. They need to get the peer review money in, and then I can start my review.
Okay.
Okay, so you're saying that you need, have you been in communications with either the engineer or the office? I didn't see any emails relative to,
There was some emails that went around just this morning stating that they need to pay their peer review consultant fee, the 53G. And it was Joseph Webby, that said that they could continue to the next meeting. I forget what that date is.
Yeah.
He has it for the 11th.
Yeah, we have it as June 11th, which would be 2 meetings from today.
Yeah, okay, so June 11, they said if it's not ready then, they'll just continue it again. Yeah. But it'll be ready for them.
okay. All right, based on the information, do we have a motion to continue 8 Hilda Lane until June 11th?
Could I ask you a
Yes,
question,
I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair? There's people here in the audience. Do they have to just come back, or can they share why they are here today?
There's really nothing, we can't move forward with with any testimony on the project. So what we should have to do is, if the other engineer was here and he's here, then you can discuss it. But if there's nobody else, and you can share your thoughts, but
Now, we just have something happened in our yard that pertains to the water damage this past 2 weeks, so I thought I would put it in the folder along with it if I could, since they're, wasted our time. Maybe we could just,
have you sent anything into the office? If you're going to,
we've been here to every meeting, they haven't probably.
no, what I'm saying is you have a new incident, you said. You have something that happened just recently?
Yes, I mean, it's gone along with all the other damage in the neighborhood with the water table and stuff. So we have a pool in our backyard, and we needed a new liner. Well, we got the liner out, and there's a lot of water damage coming up from the river, shall I say now. So we're gonna have to fix that. But it's just to help everybody know what's going on with this water table, and to go against the bylaws to build more homes that are now gonna even detriment all the neighbors again. I just think that, I'm saying my piece, so.
My suggestion, if you
Put it in
do have some concerns, photographs would be helpful.
I got one, that's why I didn't know if you could put it in the folder, but I'll bring it next time.
What you should do is either bring it into the office or email it to the office so it becomes part of the record.
I can bring it with me.
May I, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I don't want to speak for the whole board, but I believe what the board's trying to do is have you officially put in your complaints with the administrative assistant in town hall, not just during open meeting here.
Yeah, I mean, letters have been sent. We've sent them throughout the last 2 years that we've been fighting that. Oh, yes, there has been letters.
And each time that there's a new concern, do you send an email or a new letter?
I send pictures and I address it here like I thought I should.
No, both is helpful.
Okay.
Both is helpful, but when it goes into the office, officially a part of the record, and it goes out to all of us in the chair automatically.
So you want me to go through 2 years of issues I've had and redo it?
No, just anything that is new.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you wouldn't mind doing a summary with the
From start to
latest,
finish?
well, whatever is current on your mind, that is continued issues that you can think
More
of.
pictures, so there isn't a folder with the pictures in the neighborhood that have wrote letters and stuff, there isn't a folder with this stuff in?
There's
I'm
some.
not sure if it's in the folder for this project or if it would be.
It was ones before and before that. Okay.
So it would be great to have an official complaint with you summarizing, just, that is, if you title the email 8 Hilda Lane, that way it actually goes into
Just
the
a
record.
letter and basically saying what's going on and the damage that's being done already without even having the new homes.
I think that
Okay, Mr. Lane?
Mr. Chairman, we are having a peer review done on it, so that'd be a big help when it's done to see what's the situation, what could be causing it. Is there more wetlands than on record? That's why we're having a peer review done.
Okay,
So that way,
so you want it this week because when are you doing the?
when it gets the money.
When he gets the money. When he gets the money.
That could be done, right?
First rule of rock and roll, keep the money up front.
Okay.
So
We have some help to do it too.
I'm looking for a motion to continue the Hilda Lane roadway application till June 11th.
I make a motion,
Okay, you want so move it.
so move it.
Okay, second?
I'll
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the matter's going to be continued to June 11th. My suggestion is this particular project, I know there's been a whole lot of projects down there. Whatever you want to document should be to this particular project. That would be very helpful. And make sure that the secretary has it and she'll share it with us. Okay?
Can I have your name for the meeting minutes?
I'm Diane
I'm sorry.
Bradford, 131 Hayward.
Thank you, Ms. Bradford.
Before I leave, this chair, I should probably give you my information.
Okay. I'm sure we'll be talking to you. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're running a little bit behind. At 7:50. I'll let the room clear for a second.
Send that folder down.
Oh, that's,
Yep. We have a 7:15 hearing on number 3 6th Avenue. Do we have someone? Okay. You can either sit here, come on up front. Please identify yourself for the record.
Kenneth and Susan Nelson.
Okay. And do we have a hearing notice on this one?
I do, Mr. Chair.
Okay. What I'd like to do is have the secretary read the hearing notice into the record.
Town of Halifax Conservation Commission, notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given of a public hearing conducted by the Halifax Conservation Commission under the provisions of MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protecting Act, and Chapter 164 of the Town of Halifax, Halifax Wetland Protection Bylaw, on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024 at 7:15 p.m. at the Halifax Town Hall to consider a request for determination of applicability, submitted by Kenneth and Sudas Nelson of 36 Ave, Halifax, for a proposal to clear area behind shed and left side of a driveway, loom to level off, and hydro seed to Paper Street, leaving current stump in place behind shed and cleared area. Install fence in the future on right side of driveway from Paper Street up to the right of the son's house. Loom to level off and hydro seed behind son's house. Loom to grass and hydro seed at the property located at 36 Avenue, Halifax, Mass. Shown on Assessors Map 52, Lot 288-0. Copies of the filing are available at the Conservation Commissioner's office at the Halifax Town Hall.
Thank you. I'd be looking for a motion to open the hearing.
I put a motion that we open the hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Mr. Nelson, you have the floor. Is it Nelson? I'm sorry.
So we,
Basically, what we need is some sort of an explanation as to what you're trying to do. We've seen that you want to clear an area behind the shed. Do you have any photographs? Do you have any plans? Do you have anything you can show the board?
Yeah, we have photographs.
Did you submit any of this to the office?
The photographs, no, just
Okay.
the application with the plan.
You will have to, if they're going to be part of the record, we will need those photographs in it.
Yeah, I can do that. Did you want to go somewhere?
Well, why don't you could stand if you don't mind, and you can show everyone. This is the area.
So this is, let me get my bearings straight on what this is. This is the left side of the driveway where we want to just level off and, or just make it even. There's an area here that had, when we had tree removes, which we were back here a little while ago and had 10 tree removes, it left a divot in the area. So just to be able to bring it to a level and not have water accumulate there. So that's the one side, just to be able to loom and grow grass. That's the another angle of the area as well, just further down on that side of the house.
Okay. Thank you.
So then, this would be the back side of the house that abuts the water. They're just, again, bringing loam and grass, right? To grow grass here.
Can I just ask one question?
There was grass there before, it looks like.
That's the pond.
Grass/moss.
That's the pond.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the house right there. Like I said, the area from the edge of the house that runs along here doesn't have, it's just,
Okay, is that area within 50 feet of the pond?
yeah. That's right.
And this is your,
the house to the
I
pond.
think this is the plan that they drew. Do you want to pass that?
Oh,
back to
yes.
Alan?
Yep.
How far are you from the
Okay.
Back.
the back of the house to the pond? And then this is the beginning of what would be the right side of the house, the area we want to clean or just clear here. So that's the street would be right here, so that's the beginning of it.
When you say clean, clear, what do you mean?
So, clean up the leaves and remove the trees, like the little trees, to have an area for it to level out and grow the grass. So that's the beginning of it.
Okay.
And that's a better view. So that would be my neighbors next door. So it's the area between our house, kind of what is described in there is behind the shed. So that's the area there.
You get your steps in.
So can you show me here where the pond is?
So so this is the house.
Okay.
This is the water's right here. It's on the back of the house.
Do you know how far it is
He said it's about 15 feet from the water to the house.
from where the water is to where you want to clear? And when you say clear, you mean cut down trees?
So this is the area here that, so you said you were gonna, from here, right?
Yeah.
To start. So
Well, what's the shed?
the shed's right there.
Oh, okay, yeah, just this area right here next to the shed.
So
Which is all this.
You want to remove all those trees?
Yeah.
Not the big ones, but just like the little ones to clear.
Do you know how far they are from the water?
So that's,
You probably, to this edge, you're probably talking about 40 feet, I'd say.
from here.
Yeah.
Approximately 40.
Did you all hear?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a full.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, that's the other angle. I think that's what we have. Yeah.
Did you have a total of 5 pictures?
6.
6, okay. And you will provide those to the office?
Yep, I'll email them to her when I get home.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to present to the commission?
The trees that were removed in that area won't, before the last time we came, we had 10 trees removed. We kept the stumps are still there, those will remain.
Yeah.
What else? I think that was, I think it was, like I said, it's just more of to clear it, to be able to have it open be able to use it. And, make it look nice as
We
well.
have from the telephone pole to the house, those trees, whatever they are, what kind of trees they are, they just grow in fast and they're like pushing on those wires. So I don't know if it's something you want to come look at or.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to open it up to the board to see if they got any questions, and then they'll make a decision or some sort of course of action. I'm going to open it up to the board for any questions or concerns.
I have one question, Mr. Chairman. We want to level fix near the closest to the lake. Is it like runoff water going straight into the lake from there, or what's going on there? Since there's really nothing there.
A lot of runoff comes from the paper street from 7th Ave to 6th Ave and it just comes down into the yard right there. So.
But behind the house you're talking about, where we want to like...
One that's just, the one right on the water.
Nothing. It's just the trees there, there's nothing, it doesn't grow. It's just moss. So we had, we tried to do something with it and nothing will grow there. So we're just trying to see if we bring in new loam and try to have it so that something will grow. But it doesn't, there's no runoff water from that to the pond.
No, I just wonder if it stays as it is, it would just like do harm to the lake, I'm just saying. No, okay.
Any other questions?
My questions would be
Okay.
for grass and the hydro seed.
Right.
How much fertilizing and other things are going to be needed by whomever does it to do it? Because the fertilizer is going to hurt
Right.
the lake and its
We
drinking
don't, so
supply
we,
and things.
we have a landscaper, they do not fertilize, just because I know that it's bad for the lake, having a septic and having to go through, putting in a whole new septic on a house right on the lake was, a big expense, so I'm not sure about the upkeep, we're just hoping that it takes and, it's not something that, we're in competition with our neighbors of a better grass screen. It's just more of, rather than having dirt back there to try to grow something. That's what we were trying to talk to him of, like, what kind of grass would grow in the shade or in this area so that it'll just be there and not dirt. Because it's dirt and all rocks. That's in the very back of the house.
So I actually have a question for the chair. So I see it as sort of two different things. So we have an RDA, removing of trees within 50 feet of wetlands, I would think would require an NOI, but the loom and the leveling of where the trees were already removed, where the divots are, to me, that would be okay with an RDA. So what do you recommend as far as...
Okay, it's up to the board, but
Yeah.
you're correct that any work that requires a variance would need an RDA. The work that's being proposed, and we haven't seen it, is all within 50 feet. So I think it's discretionary because we've got a previously disturbed area. All right. To put them through the expense of an NOI with a plan, it seems to be just a little bit overboard. I guess I would suggest that commission members go out and take a look. And I think that if the board was inclined, you could go with an IDA with conditions. If the commission felt they needed something, some of those sphagnous trees or whatever you got there to be replaced, or they want to look at whatever's going to happen as far as the grading, you could issue an IDA with conditions. But I guess the first step, the board should decide. It's not clear to me what they're doing. I've seen the pictures, and I'm okay with that. If they want to do a site visit, if they don't want to do a site visit, then we can decide on which course of action to take.
Okay, so I feel like the pictures gave enough information. I don't personally feel like a site visit is required. But as I said, I feel like it's two different questions that were being asked. So,
You're correct.
okay.
So
all right.
your option is that if you felt as though this needed to go to an NOI, then you'd have to make,
Part of the project, you mean, right?
then you'd have to make a motion that we issue a positive determination on the RDA, and that would kick them over to an NOI.
Okay.
So.
All right, so what is the motion again that I would have to say to have the portion of the project that I believe requires an NOI be on an NOI?
Well, it would be, the whole project would have to be on the NOI,
Understood.
unfortunately. And where you have a previously disturbed area, because it appears that everything there that they're doing is previously disturbed, the NOI would be a great expense. But, I mean, feel free. That motion would be to issue a positive determination on the RDA.
Okay. I do have one more question. Is the area that you want to clear the trees behind the shed a previously disturbed area?
What do you mean by previously disturbed area?
Okay, any area that, since you've been there, you've done a septic system?
Yeah.
Okay, so all your lawn area is previously disturbed. The area that she's questioning, you might have a picture of it. Is it heavily treed?
She does have a picture.
By
of
little
it.
trees.
The little trees,
They're tiny, they're,
What size caliper trees are they?
Yeah,
yeah.
you might not have seen that.
What's that, a maple?
I might be able to tell if I look at it again.
Yeah. How much of this, I mean,
so this runs like the whole length of so this is, yeah, that's the beginning of it. That's the same picture.
Okay.
That's the other side, sorry. And then see, it runs from here all the way.
okay, you might want to just give her an idea as to how many of the trees that you want to take out, because this, I guess if you want to define trees, you can define trees as caliper 6 inch or less. I don't see anything there that's any larger than 6 or maybe 8 inches. It looks like the scraggly stuff is what you're looking to do.
Right.
But why don't you show her?
That's that one.
Okay.
And then that's like a better, I don't know what kind they are, but
Yeah, I can't tell without seeing the leaves either.
yeah.
From the
Right.
back, it looks like maple. I would say maple, but
Could be maple.
Real quick.
I mean, we've been
It
there
could be
29
birch.
years.
Yeah,
and
it could be
we've
birch as well.
Never touched it. This is our first, adventure to do this after we took down the big trees. It made a big difference.
Looking at the bottom, I can't tell what this one's out of.
Right. Okay. All right.
Because do you want to take these larger ones down too, or just the saplings?
No, just the small ones.
when you say small, could you define them for the commission? Are they going to be 2 inches or less in caliper size?
This is,
This one here, would this come down?
yes.
So that looks like, appears to me to be greater than 6 inches.
I'm not really sure about that.
Okay.
So if that's a maple or a birch, that would be a mature tree. And that is almost mature. These two in the back would be mature. These smaller ones, like when I say sapling, that's what we're referring to as the smaller ones on the bottom.
To clarify, you want to clear the whole area, all the trees in this picture? Okay. Yeah, I definitely personally feel that would require an NOI. So,
I agree.
all right.
The board's been trying to stay consistent
Yes.
Well,
and follow procedures and other things. So I would have to agree with Melanie's input and notice on that one.
So Melanie, is it your intention to make a motion to do a positive determination on the RDA?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that would be your motion.
Yes, it is.
Okay, does someone want to second that?
I'll second.
Okay, we'll go to a vote.
excuse me, Mr.
Yes,
Chair. Let me just
discussion.
throw some things out. On the RDA, we can add conditions, right?
Yes, you can.
Like, obviously, they said they'll have no fertilizer. when you maybe take down those trees, maybe have a condition to replace those with some other friendly trees and brush for the lake area.
That was the other plan, was to like maybe do the taller, like, I don't know, I think they're kind of like a privacy bush, like in that area, or like some kind of greenery there instead of a fence or something, you know, to kind of close in the, that was our other thought.
You would need to clarify that, because the motion right now on the floor, and it has been seconded, is to issue what's called a positive determination, which means that you would not be allowed under an IDA to proceed. You'd have to get an engineered plan and do a notice of intent.
I don't want to do that. I don't think that we're that heavily involved in it. Like I said, we've lived there for 29 years. It's just more, you know, to clean up the area, have a clear area for the dogs to run, to put up a fence so they're not going in our neighbor's yard. But I'm not sure that we want to go through what we just went through, removing the trees and doing all that just for that.
I have a question, and it may help, maybe not help, change Melanie's mind. If they were willing to leave the mature trees and just take out the saplings, would you do an RDA with conditions?
I would probably be willing to do that, but I would like to see that all in the actual formal RDA, so then I would suggest that they withdraw this RDA and come back with one.
No, what would happen is that under the RDA, we'd come up with a list of conditions.
Okay.
So that would be part of the determination.
Okay, so if they were not looking to remove the larger trees in that area, that might defeat the purpose of what they're trying to do. No? Okay.
Not necessarily. Like I said, it's more of just to have that area clear. And to have
You can rake and all of that all on your own without the commission's
the
permission and
landscaper
things like
won't,
that.
he won't touch any of it without us being here.
Conservation, yeah.
Yeah, he said, I'm not even, he said, I've been on jobs where I'm near the water and somebody's come and they haven't done that. So he won't do it until, we tell him what's to come from this. So that's why I said, but, I mean, I don't know if you feel, I don't feel that, I could leave it as is. And just, I'd like to have the grass and the loam and the big divot out of the yard before taking all those trees. So if it would be separate or, to redo it separately, that would be, another option for us as well. Like the loam, the area where the tree was that it sunk is now like sits there with wet.
The mosquitoes will.
Yeah, and everything there. And just to level that area off as one, and then be able to have them come and work at the top of the driveway so that we don't have the runoff from the road as well.
Well, so the runoff from the road won't hit the back area, but any large storms or anything like that, or any torrential downfall, will there be a barrier so the loom that you're adding won't go into the pond?
The landscaper mentioned something like that, if you was to work on it, to put a barrier up.
Okay.
Okay. What I should have done, excuse me, is anyone in the audience have any questions regarding 36 Avenue? Okay. All right, why don't we continue then? I'm sorry.
I had a question too.
Yes.
It's the fencing. Is that within the 50 feet also? Of the wetlands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
It's
going right
kind
down
of
to
between the neighbor and us, so if we, like where all the saplings were and trees, it could go right from there up to the street.
There's still fencing pushed from when, before we moved in that is still standing, but
Is it reusable?
I don't think so. I think it's rotted.
We kept it there just so we know our boundaries, so.
Okay, we have a motion, but we may be changing that motion. I just want to do a little bit of discussion. I'm not sure that the board would probably entertain that these folks come in with a very clear, detailed plan of what they want to do as far as trees that are going to be cut, if they're going to be 2-inch caliper or less. We can measure those at the base, exactly what you want to fill. Come in with some still photographs showing that this is the area that we want to fill. These are the trees that we're going to save, and you can photographs of that. If the board's susceptible to that, it might make it a little easier for you. And
I would withdraw my motion if that is the case, because I feel that that would be sufficient. I really feel that it's two separate issues you're talking about, and I think it would have been better to come with an RDA for just the filling the divots with the loom and then doing the other one separately, because that's the one that I'm more inclined to want an NOI for. So I would be, that makes sense to me.
Okay, fine.
Process is a little confusing. Hard to understand, but sure,
Okay,
I get it now after listening. though.
Yes, okay. So basically, what I think I'd do is, A, when I ask the question, does anybody want to do a site visit?
I'm familiar with the area. I personally don't need to do a site visit.
I don't feel that it's necessary after seeing the photographs.
I don't either. It's up to you. If you feel as though you need to,
I would like to if I could.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to suggest that you contact the administrative assistant and come up with some days with Miss Evans and let her come on and take a
So
look
that's
at it.
Peggy, is that right?
Yes.
It's
It goes back and forth.
Patty. So it's either Patty or Peggy. Patty or Peggy.
either one can help you, yeah.
Okay,
We can set up a time
set up a time with you to come up.
and just take a look.
Okay.
I would be looking for a motion to, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. We've been going with 2 members going out. Do we still need 2 members to do site visits?
It's up to the discretion of the board, and this is something minor. It's up to the board. If the board, if Ms. Evans believes that she needs somebody to assist her, that's fine.
I'm good.
Okay. I would be looking for a motion to continue the 3/6 Ave RDA until, is May 28th sufficient? Does that seem to work?
Is that okay with you?
Okay. Somebody want to move it?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So moved.
Okay, I'm looking for a second.
And second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. So again, be very descriptive, pictures showing what you want to do. If there's any great big trees that want to come down, as she indicated, then she's going to be looking for a notice of
We
intent.
just did that.
So-
Like I said, I don't even know, it hasn't even been a year. We just did that, the whole thing, so it's just more of clearing the area of the smaller one.
And it's up to Ms. Evans whether or not you want to mark the trees you're going to save or mark, just let her know.
yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, we showed you in the photos from Melanie and I what the mature trees were and what at least the 2 of us felt would be sufficient and not in with the seedlings. It'd be helpful in the new photographs with the descriptions just to have them marked,
Mark,
so we know which ones you're keeping.
okay.
And I'm okay if you use any type of household items or ribbon or anything like that to mark them so we know.
Something great for us to do. I can do that.
All righty? Okay, we'll see you on the 18th.
All right.
Please make sure that you submit all the documents at least 4 or 5 days beforehand so that the admin can share them with the rest of the board members.
Okay, so these plus more, so to add more pictures with the markings,
Well,
and
you-
then an appointment with when she wants to come out and do a site visit.
Correct. What you might want to do is just put the picture on a piece of paper and have some sort of description below.
Underneath.
That's up to you. Underneath of it. You know, picture up top, what you plan on doing here, you got a 6-inch hole, you want to fill that in, or more specifically, if you want to take pictures of that tree area. That seems the area of greatest concern.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I please have the second map that goes with 3/6?
Oh, there it is.
Don't you also need that little binder?
I can get that at the end of the
Okay.
meeting, that's a different property.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, we're running a little bit late. Okay, we have discussion items. We have 106 South Street, 14-acre donation to the Plymouth Wildlands Trust.
I'm Ellen Snowless of 106 South Street. This is land appraiser Mark Churin.
Why?
We're, just to begin, we own a 15-acre property on South Street that comes close to abutting the Winnetoxet River. What we want to do is separate out the house lot and donate the rest of the back area to Plymouth County Wildlands Trust. We've applied for the state tax incentive and are trying to maximize the value of the wetback lot. which is why we hired Mark.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so you had submitted some plans that looked something like this. We had ECR come out and flag the wetland.
Do you mind just bringing,
He doesn't have a big,
either that or just hold them up, just so that, we want to be sure that the camera can get them. Okay. I believe that's the camera.
I'll hold that.
Okay.
Okay. Like this?
Yeah, that's fine. And you can just make sure all the board members can see it. Once the camera sees one, that's fine.
yeah.
Did you count this one?
Yes.
Anyway, originally, it looked like the only way to develop the property with as a house lot would be to put a driveway in within 50 feet of the wetland and across 250 feet. And I talked to Alan, he said that was pretty unlikely to be allowed, 50-foot buffer requirement. So we came up with an alternative plan, which is to put it in the front. So it would be a different shape lot. It would be another.
In other words, we're trying to maximize the value of the donation.
Right. It would be another 7,000 square feet that would be part of the donation. And this is barely enough room to put a little septic system in the house there, but it's like 1,200 square feet of area or more where the septic system, leaching field could go, and the house would be here. It would be a small house, but it would maximize the value. That's what I'm trying to do.
Would you kindly show me on this where you're talking about putting
sure.
the driveway?
Sure. This
If there were to be.
This is the new lot line. It has to have this funny tag to this to make 40,000 square feet. But this would be where this is 50 feet from the wetland.
Okay.
This is 100 feet. Well, actually, I understand this well is no longer in use now, so this doesn't really apply. But anyway, the septic system could go right here in the front, and the house could go right here. It goes right up to the 50-foot line. I'm not sure what you think about that.
Putting a dwelling right up to the 50-foot line?
That's a no for me.
Yeah, that is,
How close could it be, do you think?
we try to be consistent with keeping it 100 feet.
100 feet?
Yeah, within our bylaws.
That is the bylaws of the town of Halifax.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't see that. Okay.
Plus a 50-foot no touch.
Right.
Anything within 100, you have to come before us.
Yeah, right. Oh, I understand that.
Correct.
But if you allow dwellings that close to 50 feet from wetland, or?
Not since I've been a member.
No, okay.
All right, I'm sorry, just direct the question to the chair. What was the question? Did we?
Have you allowed dwellings within up to 50 feet from a wetland before?
In
Yes.
the past, I know we have.
Yes.
Going back a few years.
Yeah.
Recently, we did the property on Home Street, the one that was on the water.
It was existing home.
It was an existing home that they were doing now. So it wasn't a new build.
If I could, I did get the email when I spoke with Mr. Snowbus, because it really wasn't clear as to what their goal was. I did, with her permission, go out and do a site visit, and I would agree with the lines that are here as far as the wetlands lines. I just want to point out to the commission that this is basically hypothetical. The intent of this particular plan, and it probably would have been better if you had shown the colored plan, the Mass Mapper plan, show that to them. This particular lot is inundated with wetlands. You could, going through a lot of hoops, maybe get a dwelling in there, but it would be a lot of hoops. And I believe that there is not going to be any dwelling.
No.
So I think, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is to, you're looking for some indication as to whether or not any or all of this work would be allowed.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so if there is not to be an existing dwelling, and you're asking if it's okay to put in a driveway, is that the question? What is the, I'm not sure what the question is.
I originally thought that the only place that could be developed was in the back and would require a wetland crossing to get to soil where we could put a septic system.
Okay.
But I have a new idea, which is to put the dwelling in the front here, but not have to go within 50 feet of the wetlands. Otherwise, the driveway would go through 50 feet, within 50 feet of the wetland, and then it would have to cross 215 feet of wetland, which it sounds like you probably would not. But anyway, yeah.
But this is all hypothetical.
Right.
There's no plans of building.
No, we're donating the land
Donating the
to
land.
Plymouth County Wildlands Trust, who have no plans to build anything there.
I just need some kind of indication to put in my report so I can say whether the property is developable or not. It makes a big difference in the value.
Well, wouldn't it legally not be developable because of the bylaws of the town of Halifax and the only,
Not necessarily. In this type of scenario, they're basically looking to find out that if they went through all of the hoops, could you potentially get a single-family dwelling there? Not that they're going to. I'm going to say from my experience that probably would be very expensive, very extensive. You might need to go to DEP. But I think of what he's showing here, there is that potential. We have nothing in front of us, so there's nothing for us to deny, but I think, or approve, but I think if they put something together, it would be a struggle.
Yeah, quick question. How big would the lot be with the new house, hypothetically?
The whole lot?
Yeah, the lot for the house.
About 14 inches.
14 acres, and you're going to donate 14 acres?
Yes.
The whole lot would be,
Oh, the whole thing, okay.
Well, currently the whole lot is 15 acres. We would keep our house
On the one.
and 1 acre.
And you get 14.
And make a donation, then you're 14 acres.
Amazing.
And this hypothetical house would be outside the 50, but be within the 100.
yes.
And any grading would have to be done in the 50, any driveway or anything in the 50.
The driveway would be on the other side of the house.
And you had a question about horizontal drilling?
Well, that was when I thought we needed to put in a private well, but there's town water there, so it's
No,
not.
there's no town water.
So I guess my question is, what are you looking for?
Well,
The commission.
Some kind of sense if this is possibly permittable or not.
Possibly permittable.
Yeah.
I suppose that I would entertain a motion, if the board so chooses, that the project, based on his representations, would be possibly permittable.
I'm going to just...
okay, so
Yeah.
may I comment for a second? Kimberly has something
Oh,
to
yes,
say.
go ahead.
So it's my understanding that the onus of responsibility to show that the hydrology is not going to be impacted is on the applicant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I feel that it would be very difficult to not impact the hydrology, but if you were able to, as Alan said, jump through all of the hoops to show that you are not impacting the hydrology, in theory, if it was possible for you to show us that, and then it is possibly permittable. That's my understanding.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Kimberly has something she wanted to say.
I wanted to read something, but this is the Board of Health and not Conservation's bylaw.
I have Halifax's bylaws, if you got a certain section, or?
Yeah, I have it too, I believe.
I have one.
What section were you looking for?
Is it under wetlands protection, or is it under our bylaw?
Our bylaw, I was looking for the development and the wetlands protection just for driveways because we've come across it before. And I know I've read it in a couple of times. In my voting to see if it's applicable, the first thing I do is ask for a peer review study. But I understand that you're asking the board to see if we'd hypothetically go one way or the other because you're looking for the most for yourself.
Right, we'd like to gain the highest advantage of our donation that we can to the Wetlands Trust. And in order to do that, it would have to be established that it was a buildable lot.
I'm not convinced it's a buildable lot underneath our bylaws or state law. And
I would agree with Kimberly, under our bylaws, that you would have to, the responsibility would be on the applicant to prove to us that it is not going to impact the hydrology within 100 feet of the wetlands. So that would be my understanding as well.
Yeah, just to clear the air, we are not trying, or we're not, is this a current lot now? Or is it going to be subdivided?
It hasn't been separated out yet.
Okay, so are you,
It's currently, the full 15 acres is one.
so are you looking to, not looking for the commission to determine whether or not you have a lot here?
Not the zoning, no.
Okay.
That'd be up to the planning board.
Anybody from the audience have any questions? Yes.
In truth, is it in a FEMA flood zone?
No.
And is there any wild, any mesa or national heritage on the
No.
land?
The area that could potentially, or hypothetically be developed has excessively drained soil, Hinkley or something like that.
Yeah.
If that's any help.
So I guess my suggestion to you folks would be to come up with what you're looking for a response from the commission. We're looking at this as, there's a multitude of wetlands, there's lots of issues.
Right.
She's correct with hydrology. Potentially, if you're going to do a road, you could do a limited crossing, and it just goes on from there.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do wetland
Correct.
crossing.
Do you have a specific?
Well, how about this? If it was proven that the hydrology is not impacted, would this be permissible, do you think?
Is there any way to have, it's tough to read this map, but any way to have it outside the 100 at all?
No, well, they have to take down the garage, I suppose.
I'm sorry, what was that
They
question?
have to tear down the garage because...
To be outside the 100, huh?
The garage...
Oh, outside the 100, I'm
The
sorry.
garage has to
Okay.
be 30 feet from the property line, the house has to be 30 feet from the property line, so I put it as far away from the wetland as it can possibly go on the sketch without tearing down the garage.
It wouldn't be the first time that we've asked people to reduce their square footage or take off a porch or garage to make sure that it fits. That would be something that you'd be comfortable doing.
We can't, I mean, we're limited by needing to keep an acre lot for the house.
Well, I could do that hypothetically, say the value of the property before is 2 lots is X, and the value of the property after is 1 lot is Y, and the difference between the two, the value of the donation will not be the same as actually donating a buildable lot, but it will be significantly higher, and it's just completely unbuildable.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have another question. For the donation and to go through to see if it's hypothetically a buildable lot, would they need to go through, do they need to go through Board of Health and Planning and the other departments as well, or are they just coming in front of us?
They would, well, I'll answer the question, but if you want to, if I'm wrong, just correct me. You don't have any plans, you have no intentions of building a house.
No.
Okay. So you're looking for some sort of direction from the commission as to how to proceed from here. So the answer to that would be no.
Okay.
They would have to go, Tommy?
Ultimately, we'll have to go to the planning board when it's done, before it's done.
Yeah, you'd have to go to the planning board in order to create that second lot, which would be probably very simple. But I might suggest,
Yeah, the question at hand is where to draw the line for the second lot. Do we draw it
okay,
in a place that could accommodate a building or not,
I don't know that we can tell you that. I think that from the center of the board is they're probably looking at you guys to provide some sort of proposed findings. And then we would look at that and say, okay, we either agree or we disagree with what you want. Good.
Mr. Chair, and one of my big questions in asking too about the other boards is too, and all the wetlands, is can you even pass a perk test? Can you even get septic in on that?
Yeah, this is excessively drained, so I will definitely pass a perk test.
we've had it surveyed.
Mr. Lane?
Quick thing, I don't want to tell you how to develop anything, but since you have no plans to actually develop it, when you want the smallest house possible on that?
Is it just about the smallest house
No,
possible?
I was just curious how you can get further away. I'm just thinking
A
about
David Thoreau shack would be fine.
Yeah, it could be, well, I mean, how small? Let's see what.
I think 700 square feet is the minimum under the state building code. Okay. We had another question for the honors. Ms. Chu?
I was just gonna let everybody know and make sure you knew that an approval not required subdivision does not guarantee that it's a buildable lot.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'm going to put the emphasis on you. You've heard the discussions from the board.
Right.
So what course of action would you like to take? Would you like to come in with the proposed findings? There's really, the board can't take any formal action because we have nothing in front of us. So how do you want to proceed?
It sounds to me that if it was proved that it doesn't impact the hydrology, there's a pretty good chance that it would be all right, but I don't know for sure.
Potentially, it would potentially be buildable if it didn't impact the hydrology. If it did, then, you know, I mean, it can't because our laws say that it can't. I have one more question before we finish that. Is it even possible to go over instead of crossing the wetlands? Like, would it be building a bridge?
No.
Be an option? No.
And that's financially
Okay. Financially unfeasible.
unfeasible.
Okay. All right.
Right. So, what would you like us to do?
Well, am I right in thinking that if it was not hydrologically a problem, that it would be?
So it would depend on how, for me personally. So I like to see natural solutions, and if it was just all, you know, underground chambers and engineered solutions, and there was, you know, a bunch of vegetation removed, that would be a no for me. So there's a lot of things that would impact that decision, but for it even to be considered, you'd have to prove that it didn't impact the hydrology. Personally, that's, you know, there's a lot of things that would impact it, and, you know, neighboring properties, and people would be notified, and if they already had issues of water infiltration, there's so many things that come into play, but it wouldn't even be considered if you could not prove that it doesn't impact the hydrology because it's just against the bylaws of the town.
Are you guys looking for potentially a motion that said that you possibly?
I don't think it
This-
would be like,
yeah.
We don't have anything in writing.
So unless you've got, I think you're going to need something, some sort of proposed findings, I guess, or some sort of specific action you'd like the board to take. Looking at the soils and looking at the site would be very difficult. They do have the soils. They do. I'm not sure that they've got Form A capabilities as far as planning. These are all things that are up in the air. But yes, Ms. True.
How do you know they have the soils?
I looked at the soil logs.
So there's soil logs on the property for where this is?
No. No, there's a system we have, it's called Web Soil Survey, that you can tell basically what types of soil are in certain areas. You do that as a soil evaluator prior to going on a site.
But in the town of Halifax, we have to do soil evaluations on each property in order to design a septic system.
I think we're getting just beyond the scope of what we're doing here. We're not designing septic systems. They have the information as far as the soils. It's up to them to give the board some sort of direction as to what you want us to do.
Excuse, Mr. Diaz,
Yes.
can you share the soil information by email with Peggy so the rest of the board can see?
Oh, yeah, I think he should. Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could.
Because all
Did
the
you have them now?
information that every board member has is, the more information you provide to each board member,
Yeah.
we all have the education.
I think you're gonna have to ask the board for some specific action. Do folks agree? Yeah, we need some sort of specific action And you have to tell us what that specific action is for us to make a decision on.
And my question is too, is it legal, and maybe we may have to ask town council, is it the board's responsibility to say something's potentially buildable so they can maximize their donation and get the best to fill their pockets? I don't think that that's necessarily the board's responsibility either. And I don't want to see us later on down the line find out that the board may have taken inaccurate step.
Duly noted. So you've got an idea on the feedback.
I think we're ready.
So I think what to do is, yeah, come back.
Information.
My suggestion, I don't know how soon you want to come back, if you want to call the office and be added to the agenda, or do you want us to add you? Okay.
We'll do that.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is
Discussions. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're in the discussion mode. Next item on the agenda is 112 River Street. Did everyone get a copy of the 112 River Street?
I'm not sure.
Is that this one?
Is this one?
You can just send it back afterwards. Wait a minute, she did some deeds. Let me see if I got it. Ms. King, is there a folder on 112 River?
There is.
Okay. If you want to share the folder, it appears, I have it here. It appears that 112 River Street had an NOI taken, I don't want to mess up the dates. It was an NOI that was taken back in 2009, and I believe, and that would have been DEP file number 171. This information is correct on the partial certificate of compliance. Should have been 1710397. That work was done in 2009, and prior to that, in 2006 or 2007, an additional or a previous NOI was taken out, and that work was not completed. So I think with the applicant, and I thought, no one's here for that. I thought the applicant was going to be here. And I think what they're asking to do is for us to sign off on the certificate of compliance when no work was completed. But in 2009, that work was completed, and they only got a partial. I'm surprised she didn't share this with you, but she sent it to me. In 2009, they did a partial. So I'm not sure who's looking for this. I have no idea. But if the board's inclined to sign off on this, I think we should notify the current owners that that partial needs to be completed. You see your name on it? Maybe it's this one. I think it was the first one. I think you were on the first one, Kathy. It was a septic repair. I don't know the site, I don't know the location.
So the first one was the septic repair. And
They were
that-
both septic repairs,
They
yes.
were both septic, okay.
For some reason, the first septic repair was not done.
There's, when you say a name, you mean the name of the people? Is that what you're asking for, with the name of the people?
The people at the time you're looking for?
I'm sorry?
It says who the certificate of compliance is issued to. I see that. Is that the question? Were you asking?
No, so that certificate of compliance is only a partial.
Right.
Which would have been for the septic repair.
Yep.
But the initial 2007 septic repair, it appears was not completed. I'm not going to go through the file. Oh, here it is, right here. That wasn't completed. So they're looking for us to sign off on that no work was done.
So on the first one, that was never done. They want.
Correct. That's what's in front of us.
And the second one, that's the partial.
Correct. That's the information that I got from doing the deed research, and then the assessors provided me with the copies. So if no work was done, is the board inclined to sign off on the original notice that the work was not completed?
Yeah, I would think so.
I wouldn't be inclined to do that without them coming here and sort of giving us the explanation. Because we're guessing right now, I believe, what they want
Correct.
us to do. They're not here.
Fine.
So because of that, without an explanation, that I wouldn't be inclined to
Okay.
sign.
I'm okay with that if the rest of the board is. I don't know who added on the agenda. Maybe they just called in. Kathy? Okay. Is that rest of the board's inclination?
I would continue it and ask for them to come in front of the board.
Okay.
Just to make sure that.
Well, they just have them make contact and make an appointment.
Right.
Get on the agenda at one point.
And
We
then,
won't take any action otherwise until they call to get on the agenda.
and then my second question is just for clarity, Mr. Chair. Is everything from the Registry of Deeds, and we don't have hard copies of this property at Town Hall either? Like, we had to do another Registry of Deeds search and go into the systems? Or did we have them here?
No, what I did is normal course of business. I looked at the chain of title, but you can't copy those from the Registry of Deeds. So I asked the admin to get those certificates of compliance. So
Okay.
yeah, the information is here. It's just that you can't copy it from the registry.
Okay.
So they did. I was curious as to why you had two NOIs in the same project. And these are from some time ago. So we'll table that. If that's,
Do we want to continue it to 5/28 or June 11th?
it's on for discussion, so I think.
We don't have to put it on the agenda. I would make them, have them call us and say, we're going to be here this date. Instead of putting it on the agenda, they'll show again.
Yeah. I mean, someone should come in and explain. Should. Okay, next item on the agenda is 285 Holmes Street. Indicates it was sent to town council. We're going to continue that. 129 Oak Street, Mr. Crispy.
It's just to pass back for the folder.
He's not here. Does anybody want to discuss this?
This is from the previous 112.
Seeing none. 471 Montponster Street, complaint trash, junk, build up at property.
There's been a lot of neighboring complaints that have come before multiple boards. I don't know if all the board members got the email, but I do know that Mr. Valley and the fire chief were out recently, and they didn't see anything of concern. Mr. Doyle didn't show up to our last meeting as requested. And we haven't, you really can't see anything from the road if there's contaminants from everything that's building up or anything like that at the edge of the property to go on, and we haven't scheduled a site visit and things like that. At our last meeting, I was asked I can still go, but Mr. Valley, I asked if the Board of Health would go. Also, Bob would like 2 members of Conservation to go, if he joins Conservation to go too.
I would be willing to go do a site visit, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking for because as a conservation member, if it's junk, I don't know how that necessarily applies to us. I'd need some explanation as to what I'm looking for, and then I would be willing to go with Kimberly.
Does anybody know if we have a copy of the complaint? And maybe we should start with a copy of the complaint, see what the allegations are, because junk and debris is not under our purview. I am familiar with the lot. The gentleman that owned that prior used to be on the Conservation Commission. And he passed away some time. And I know it's been 5 or 6 years with the junk accumulation there.
Yeah,
The problem we have is that junk is not under our purview, but
yeah, there was no, those in, I haven't seen it formally written to conservation, only those that have come to our open meetings to talk to us about it. And it's always labeled junk, trash, and other things. I believe not our last meeting, the meeting prior, they were concerned about potential chemicals from air conditioners being stored, some cars and different things like that, which would be in our purview if making it to the pond and such things, but we haven't been able to do a site visit to see if anything is in the purview of.
Who do we need, we need permission from the homeowner to do a site visit?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
can't
why it
go to
hasn't
the property.
happened yet?
yeah, you would need,
Okay.
but you really should have a complaint. You really should be looking.
For something that's under conservation.
Correct. I mean, I'm sure you can go on anybody's property and find an issue. With complaints, they should be reasonably specific. My interpretation. The problem with the junk has been going on for 6 or 7 years. I did read the email. Bob Valerie had Highway take 10 to 12 tires out. I know that in the past, Kathy Drynan has gone over and had cans or any receptacles that could catch water were tipped over. But my opinion would be that if we have a complaint, and that complaint should be in writing, then it's important that we investigate it. At this point, trash, junk, you know, I think if someone went buying a boat and said they saw an oil sheen next to that property, then yes. But that's only my opinion, so the board can, you know, leave it on the agenda for discussion or
Move on.
wait, just move on and let's get something in writing as far as a complaint.
So, my Nancy, I'm fairly comfortable that the fire chief and Mr. Valley would inform us if they saw anything that they thought fell under the preview of conservation. The departments really have been working really well together. So I'm comfortable taking it off the agenda until something comes in writing. It's been on the agenda for quite some time as a discussion, and then if a new matter comes in with extreme detail, I'm sure, because the property is listed on the town's distress list, where the proper departments are already handling it. And I'm sure if those departments see something, they do a great job of communicating with us that they'd speak up.
Correct.
I do have one comment on this. Mr. Doyle stated that there was a lot of junk that he was trying to get a dumpster for. So, does anyone know, is this something that we can ask the town administrator? Is there any kind of help for people who need these type of services? Are there any grants, like a community preservation grant or something of that nature that helps clean up properties to keep Halifax looking nice and safe?
If you wanted to answer that, my years on the Board of Health, the answer is no.
Okay.
You know, it's education. If it gets to be some sort of a health hazard, there's some sort of violations of the state sanitary code, then you can take some sort of course of action. The fact that you've got a lot of junk build up is unsightly to you and I. It's not a reason to go onto someone's property and have them remove it. And in the past, we've had hoarding situations in the Board of Health, and the agent spent a lot of time with trying to get other agencies to try to come in. The town has no agencies. I agree that it probably needs some help. I don't know who's out there that can assist them in getting rid of the junk and maybe do the education part.
All right. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Is this a topic that we want to add into the educational forum that has been bouncing back and forth? Growing off the arboviral education that we've done. We've talked about the education of the ponds and other different things. Is that a topic that we want to put in to see like a small segment done? Because we're just looking to try to do it for something online, something quick, something that can be viewed. And if it is done like live, if we get to that point where it would be able to be Zoomed and you can still replay it, that way people, it's on the website, it's in different areas. That way it'd be a lot easier for people to get the education.
I need to try to put something together. It's a problem that each town has.
Yeah.
I think Halifax has been fortunate. There's only been a half a dozen. That one seems to be sticking out the most. There was another one on Plymouth Street that was resolved. But every town has that issue. So if you'd like to come up with some sort of program, we can look at it, and we got some more discussions as far as policies and procedures. Come up with something, or maybe Caesar can assist you with coming up with some sort of educational.
It is, and I'm sure the state reps and everyone else would be more than happy if the town didn't have money and different things like that. They helped us before in different things. Like, the options are endless when it comes to education.
Yeah, that might be a reach for the state representatives, but there might be some agencies that would assist, and I know Kathy had some with hoarding and that type of situation, and I know that she was very successful in handling that with the education and getting people. So it might be an area that you might want to look at and see if there are some agencies or organizations out there that could assist, and we can just point them out.
Yeah, and she was really close with a lot of different health agents I can reach out to too that are still there too, and see if they still use from Kathy's toolbox. And Bob's got a big toolbox too.
Okay, so we're going to take that off the list of discussions. Our next one is 341 Plymouth Street, drainage issue complaints by Mr. Alger. Okay, we do have a handout that I want to, let me pass these down.
Yeah.
340.
I might have the address wrong. We know where it is.
Yeah. So just so we put them on top of the agenda next time.
Yeah. Tom, I'm going to give that to you if you don't mind. Did I pass on enough?
I think we need one more.
One more?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, there's enough.
Okay. What I did is I took it upon myself, I hope the commission's okay with it, that I know the Algers, I've done work for the Algers years ago. I know they've been in pretty much every meeting in calendar 23 and probably 24. And I understand their frustration. They have a serious drainage problem. I spoke with Steve at Highway, and a message came in from Cody as to what type of action that this board was going to take. So I did prepare the scope of work. What I do want to point out, though, that the drainage issue that they have is not under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. All right? We are responsible for stormwater management, but we're not responsible for the stormwater that comes in off the streets. There is a stormwater plan. That's 127 pages if you want to read it. And that plan governs what should and what should not be done in the streets. Catch basin cleaning, determination of where the flows are going to go, and so forth and so on. There's been some speculation that there might be some other outside sources from, again, Bill, I probably get the numbers wrong, 330, 327, 319. Are those areas across the street? Okay. There's been some discussion that potentially some of their runoff is getting into our stormwater. If you go to the last page, what I did is this little sketch, and we'll start at the top. It shows where Stop and Shop is. These little square dots are the catch basins that are in question. Some are within the public way, some are not. Those, I think the purple line is Plymouth Street, and it looks like there's 2, 4. There's probably 6 or 7 basins in that area. They're accumulating the flow that's going onto, correct me if I'm wrong, is it 319? Is that the road out back between, next to O'Reilly's?
Yeah.
Okay, so all of these flows, as you can see from the plan,
316, 319, I don't know which one it is.
okay. If you go up where it says Plymouth Street, this shows Plymouth Street, it shows, maybe it's the entrance to Walmart. It shows there's a basin that comes across the street and drops off. We don't know what that is for type of basin. There's basins, and I have another one if somebody want to share it. I have another one. You can go to the back page. All of these basins, it appears to me, are going to this OWR 24, which is an outfall pipe that is the pipe that's in question that the Algers have been consistent that this is flooding their property. OWR 19 is another piping that comes in off of Montponce Street and drains into that field. In my conversations with the highway department, they have a plan to go out possibly next week with VHB, which is the engineering consultant company that has produced the stormwater plan for Halifax, and they're going to inspect all of the basins. There's a certain inspection criteria. They're going to determine whether it's a leaching basin or a solid basin. They'll look at the piping in those basins. They'll look at how much sludge and solids are at the base. From that, we might be able to see exactly which flows are going to 319 Plymouth. I know there was some talk about some dyes.
No, it was just.
I did speak with Howie on that, and I think that what they were looking for is to introduce some of the dye we use in septic systems, and that's nowhere near good enough to put in these to see where the water's going to go. You need a volume amount of water. The right way, if we had to dye test this, would be to use a pond dye, but if it comes out in OWR 24, the whole field is going to be blue. So I think dye testing at this point is not a good idea, but I think the inspection, using cameras in there will help assist on which way it goes, and then if need be, they're going to have to get a vacuum truck to clean these basins. I don't think it's going to solve the problem, but I think it'll answer all the questions as to where all this flow is going.
Where it's coming from and everything.
Exactly.
On the basins that are on private property, they still be touching those?
Without permission, I understand from some of the minutes
Like
that...
something, a lot of them won't mind. But
Yeah, there was some letters sent out. I think if we get permission to go out there, we can go out there, but I can tell you that under my interpretation of stormwater management is we can require those buildings or those facilities, even though they're not under stormwater management and they're not what we call pre-construction and post-construction, that we can actually have them come up with a best management practice program, so they'll clean the basins. But I think it's important if we do find out if the pipes are coming from there. And we can do that, or they can do that, by looking at the basins on the street.
sounds like a great plan. Thank you, Mr. Diaz. Looking into that.
So, the board doesn't have a problem. I'll assist with the highway and go out there to do the follow-up and then report back to the board. It's just unfortunate, like I said, under the stormwater program, we have no jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Mrs. Alger?
Yeah, I had the paper all on the kitchen table, and I went out without it.
Okay.
But this last storm, like 2 days ago, we had the rain. It rained so hard that both sides of the street were flooded.
the water was coming down my driveway and going down, one side was going down of the driveway, one side was going into the backyard, the other side was ponding by my back step. And I keep my rubbish barrel there from the town with the wheels on it. And the water was halfway up the wheel, and it sat there. You know, it scares me to see that water coming racing down like a raging river from the street. And we had a medical emergency around 6 o'clock, and they can verify how bad it was going down the street because I was in the front window watching them. And they were just moving so slow with the lights on. You could see water splashing. They were in the middle of the street, and the water is just splashing on both sides. Now, I'm sure the fire department and the police department will verify it, that it was bad. And the drains do not carry the water off of 106. It just does not do anything.
Okay, and I'm going to agree with you. I have been out there, not this year, last year or the year before,
Yeah.
and I've seen the heavy rains. I've opened up the catch basins, because my concern was with O'Reilly's, because there is a good-sized detention basin in the river that, and that pipe that comes off of the catch basin in front of O'Reilly's is piped to the facility. And we inspected not only the basin on the street, but there's a basin on O'Reilly's property. And what was unusual to me, and I'm going to get a little technical, is that the invert, the pipe coming out of the basin on the street, okay, was much lower than the outlet pipe heading out to the backyard. So the water comes in here, the water goes out there, which to me, I thought was very unusual. I mean, usually if water comes in, the pipe going out should be lower. It's the way it's always been in my business. But in checking it out, I'm finding that engineering standards do allow the volume of water to go into that second basin to actually filter up and go out the other basin. So those are correct engineering practices. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been out there. I was out there 3 times when that road first started flooding. I'm going to say a couple of years ago, because it seems to me that you lived there that it got worse as far as the road flooding, maybe with O'Reilly's, you know, but I didn't really notice. But where I was involved in O'Reilly's, I did go out there after heavy rains to make sure the basin and stuff was working. So did it flood before O'Reilly's?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've complained about this. I've complained about this to the highway. And some of the guys will say, well, geez, I noticed that when I went by, that the water is coming right down your driveway. But nothing has been done about it. I don't know what can be done about it, whether they can put some kind of a berm up there that I can still get into the driveway. But it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think personally that the first thing is to look at all the basins, make sure they're at capacity. If you got a basin that's 6 feet deep and you got 3 feet of debris in the bottom, it's at half capacity. So this is all part of the stormwater management. This is all part of the stormwater program the town is required to do. So an assessment of the basins, I think, is the first step.
Yeah, well now from what we understood, there was different pipes, different sized pipes coming out of those basins to go down to Otto's Pond. Some of them are small pipes, some of them are big pipes, and some of them are medium-sized pipes, and they're all put together going down to Otto Pond.
Okay, I'm not, you might want to, I don't know what Otto's Pond is, so you might want to let the...
Right to the fire station.
Oh, okay. Those basins aren't connected to that.
Yeah, they are.
No, she's right, they are, because Al just can say, and we have a new fire chief now, but the Plymouth County Mosquito Control Project does all the ditch management works and the water management work from the fire department in middle school and if you look across the street where the pond and the small swamp is, they do underneath the road and all the way down to where O'Reilly's is, including the golf course, just to keep viruses down because on the Board of Health and you know you served, we're always high risk in town. And it's one of the concerned areas, so one of the state agencies does all the ditch work and the water management for the golf club, and they've worked all the way up, and they've tried to work on this property and other things too, and they couldn't come up with any forms of solutions other than staying up with it, and we've put it in, they've added Stop and Shop in other areas to their list just to identify and keep an eye on to see if there can be work for them to do in the future that's in their peer reviews.
I can only go by the stormwater management plans that were done by VHB for the town, and they mapped out all of the stormwater receptacles and where they go out. So I'm just going from that. I find it highly unlikely with the hill going down that the water from front of your house is heading in that direction, but I mean, okay. Well, once VHB goes out and inspects these basins, they're going to make a determination as to which way the inlets and outlets are. So if you look at this plan in front of the little pink building, it shows a basin, this one here, and this one here.
Yeah, kind of Tedeschi's.
Is that Tedeschi's? So what it looks like, there's a round basin there, which would be a receptacle, and then there's another enclosed basin there, which might be used to turn. So sometimes there's two basins. That's what it looks like to me, but that pipe ends there. But VHB will be able to tell us.
Well, if that's what you're saying, if it doesn't go down there, then it's deadheaded?
No, they don't
Where would it go, though?
They might be part of it, and I think they should figure it out. I would think that from the entrance to the country club, just my own thinking, from the entrance to the country club down to the fire station, all those basins would probably be connected to that auto pond. I would think. But they did this 50 years ago.
That's right. So, I just want to... We have been dumped on by the PECs years ago, like probably 30 years ago we've been complaining. Well, take care of it, take care of it, take care of it. We've been in front of boards, all boards, 30 years ago. And we've been fighting this fight. Now we have the town dumping in on us. So where do we go? And it's against the law to dump water on other people. What do we do?
I think
there has to be a cure. I know shit runs downhill.
Yeah. I would hope that there's a cure, but I think we need to do the investigative part first. I mean, you've been here for a year, going back and forth.
It's very frustrating.
And I think this is going to start the process, so we can see which way the water goes. Because right now we're just having conversation.
Right, but we used to have a cornfield.
Yes.
Up there. We had a cornfield. I mean, we grew corn there. You can't walk across that now.
I mean, I think part of that is the global warming and we're inundated, but that, I know. But listen, I think the only approach that I think, unless somebody's got some different idea, is let's investigate the basins. That's going to be covered under the stormwater program that the town has, okay? And then we'll digest that information. You're getting inundated from two sources of water.
Yes.
Okay, it's true.
I'm curious why their property is basically right here, why we don't have...
I'm not sure what you're talking about. You'll have to get up and show everyone.
Across from Tedeschi's is their property. So I'm curious why we don't have That's the exit of Stop and Shop, Dunkin' Donuts, 359 Plymouth Street where they just tore down all the trees, and the country club. Like, I'm curious why we have this area and not any area, because their property would be,
That's the area that's in question. So that's the area we had
their
this.
house is here. So anything that's over here that would be coming across the street isn't included in any of this map here.
There's more basins as you go down the street, obviously, right?
Correct. In order to get that information, just so that you're aware of, is on the town website. In order for us to reproduce it, she had to like snipe it or something. I'm not a computer guy. So this is the area that we're going to investigate. But if you go on the town website, okay, to the stormwater management plan, and when it comes to the area with basins, and you'll see it, I think I included it.
I'll have another one.
Okay. Let me just finish up. So basins go up this way, they go up that way. And that information is on the website. Go ahead, Tom.
The basins in the driveway up the bank, the water gets so high, it goes in those basins and goes out into their retention pond, which is filthy dirty. And Mr. Peck poked a hole in the pipe that's down below. So the water just runs straight through. It's not even being filtered.
Okay. All I can say is that, go ahead, Ms. Scully.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Chair. Was the site visit done on the basins for the bank?
My recollection that the retention pond was cleaned 3 or 4 years ago, that's my recollection. I did not see that. Bill, you would know better than I.
They went out there, but they just dug it a little deeper.
Okay, I think they removed the vegetation. There was a complaint maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and they went in and they dug the basins. I did not see it, witness it. I have been at O'Reilly's because I was part of that process.
Should we go and look? When you go through the drive-through and use the ATM over there, like, you can see tall vegetation and things, but I've never gone out and looked to see if they've upkept any of that, and see if we can ask some of the business in town to do better upkeep under stormwater management and best management practices.
If I could just answer that. I think we have the jurisdiction, even though those facilities weren't built when we adopted stormwater management back in 2019. I think if we can utilize the best management practices portion of the stormwater to try to get them to do what they need to do. And I think you're more than welcome to go out there. Like I say, I have not been out there, but.
So it's my understanding that Peggy or one of the administrators just sent letters to Northeastern Bank, was one of the recipients of the letters asking them to clean out their basins. There were 3. There was Happy Dragon, Nani's Restaurant, and Northeastern Bank. They just received letters. So I think they need a little bit of time after receiving those letters to make sure they schedule that and have it done, and then it's possible for someone to go and check and see if they did. But the letters, I believe, just went out.
Okay. I haven't seen the letters, and I agree, and I will look at the letters at the next meeting. I think I'd probably include some of the information that's available online with best management practices, catch basin cleanings, what they need to look for. I think that would be more helpful. I don't know what the letters say, but if the letter says, fix it in 30 days, we're going to send you a fine, I think that's kind of accurate, but I think if we send them.
The letters as well, if we're able, because I just know that letters went out because it's in the admin notes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. So.
Yeah. I know for a fact there's different pipes, different size pipes going down Plymouth Street. That came from Stu Haywood, told me that they're not all the same.
Okay.
And they should be enlarged, because he said some of them are small, some of them are medium sized, and some of them are large. And it just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't flow right. And the town doesn't have the money to fix it, so do we have to take it? Do we have to take the water?
No. I'm going to say that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I got some pictures here that you might want to see.
I'm going to say that problem with the different size pipes, I've seen that in other towns because of the contractors that put the road in at the time. You know, they didn't have supervisory staff. So I've seen that. That might be the problem. But is it going to go away anytime soon? Not without some relief from town meeting. You know, the Chapter 90 monies aren't going to solve any drainage problems. That would be quite extensive. But let's, you know, these things have to be mapped out and should be logged. So if there's any 4-inch pipe coming out of the basin, or even a 6-inch pipe coming out of the basin, that's too small. That should be noted. It's required under stormwater management, so it should be noted, and then that has to be addressed. You can only kick that can so far down the road because we're on the MS4, and the feds say you got to do this.
Yeah, now the water is coming down in front of our old stand, right next to the bank. And I don't know about the house that we had next door. I don't know how that driveway is because it's very hard to tell whether the water is pouring down there or not. It's just a mess.
Okay, you can show the pictures. The only problem is that if you're going to show the pictures, you need to provide the pictures to become part of the record. So if you don't want to, if you want to submit them, I mean, they should be part of the record. Not that we don't want to see them.
All pictures, either all pictures. Just
Yes, Ms. Flint?
I just want to clarify, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So the town stormwater management team is going to be going and working with VHB next week, you said, and addressing this by investigating to see where the water is flowing and discovering whether or not sediment needs to be removed from these catch basins.
That's correct.
That's the first step, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so does that sound helpful?
anything.
Okay. I just want to make sure
We
that.
just need to move forward. I mean,
That
for the
sounds
last
to me
30
like a great
years-
idea, a great start.
The last 30 years, it's been, yeah, we'll take care of it. And it's,
Every time a new business goes in, you people that have been here long enough know that I've been here.
Yes.
I have been here. And I come upon deaf ears. Everybody is concerned about our problem, but nobody really cares. Just let it go. That's their problem, you know, that's.
and another business goes in.
And the business goes in and we're stuck with more water. And, you know, it gets tiresome after a while. It really does, and it gets very disgusting. And I think it's time that the town has got to do something to help the whole neighborhood out.
I mean, even the safety of the street.
I mean, we hear your concerns, and it's been a long battle. I don't know that this commission can help you, but or can solve the problem, but I think we can help. And that's, okay, that's all.
That's it.
Yeah,
And
thank you very much.
we don't want to
Okay.
make big stakes, you know what I mean? It's just, we just want something done.
Correct, okay. Ms. Troop?
I was thinking that maybe you could add some properties down to the west, like the Dunkin' Donuts, if you at least include the perimeter of their area for the drainage. VHB, was it VHB? And what does VHB stand for?
Van Huysen something. I don't, it's very well pronounced engineering
Yeah,
company.
it's not like an acronym for.
No. And the scope that I've outlined is what we plan to do. That's, they're going to be doing some work, from what I'm told, in front of the country club. There's some, maybe there's some basins in there that's going to be a problem. Or there's something going on at the country club that I'm not 100% sure. They're going to be investigating those basins, and they're going to come up to your place. So I'm assuming, but
And further, right?
And further up, sure.
no, they're coming up to whatever, I think Nani's.
Oh, Nani's.
Nani's. They're going to come up, the basins that are on this map, on this section, like I say, I just took it off the town website, so I didn't get it all, but I can tell you that the The original appointment for VHB was to investigate, for whatever reason, that basin in front of the country club.
Yeah.
And this problem has been added to it, and that's, I got an email at 5 o'clock on that.
So now we heard from the other side of like Walmart, it goes the other way, across the lights.
It should, it should.
It should.
And I've been by Walmart many times, but I believe that their retention basins all drain out into a wetlands area.
Just the street and everything like that goes towards, goes east.
You could be right. You could be right. I'm just going by the plans that I've seen. I mean, we'll have an idea, because when they get in front of 90s or whatever number that is, if there's another 10 or 12-inch pipe that's heading east, they're going to document it. Then at some point, they're going to have to come back and investigate that. But as part of, like I said, the MS4 program, stormwater management, they're required to do that. So we're just trying to get them to do a little faster.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, we'll let you guys
Okay.
get out of here.
All right, we'll have the right agenda. Let me get the right agenda. Okay.
We can continue some of this.
Yeah, okay. The next item on the agenda is Conservation Commission policies and procedures. I added some stuff, and I think someone else added some stuff. It's 9 o'clock. I don't know how much time you want to spend on this, but I think it might be important for all of us individually to kind of take a look at our regulations. I've listened to all the meetings, so I know some of the concerns, and then come up and have a discussion on what needs to be changed. There's signage, there's post and rail fences, there's disturbance zone. I think there's 2-to-1 replication suggested here. I think we need to discuss this, but we do need to have a public hearing if we're going to change any of our rules and regulations.
And
So we have a discussion, then if you want to change something, then go to the.
Well, yeah, it's 9 o'clock, and we can spend a few more minutes, or we can go home, or my suggestion is each individually, I have a complete set of the rules and regulations. I don't have any real issues, but there could be when and where do we allow work in the 50-foot? If it's a distinct no disturb zone, then the signage in this no disturb zone. If there's a replication area, and it's a 2-to-1 or up to 2-to-1, is that because we're disturbing the 50? Or I think the regulation is that once you disturb the actual resource area. So that should be all, we should all be on the same page as far as that's concerned. So if there's, everybody's got their own little particular area. Getting into replication areas, what do you want? Do you want the engineers provide species to go in there? And that's kind of it. So,
Can we put, if we, obviously, it's getting later, it's limited time, can we put this closer to the beginning of the discussions, so we have time to go through this?
that's fine. I didn't have anything to do with setting the agenda, so, okay, that's fine. Okay.
So, 'cause it seems like we will probably concur that we've been pushing this stuff off for a little bit.
Well, my hope is to take the NOIs and the RDAs,
Yeah.
and if we can get rid of them in one evening, that would be helpful. My philosophy is always, if there's something on the agenda, I'm going to do the research before the meeting. That's just the way that I am. So if the rest of the folks want to do that, then that's fine. If not, then we can continue it. But I think if we clean up our agenda and get rid of some of the lengthy ones, then we should be able to spend some more time on here. So we'll discuss that more. We have some bills to pay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, before we move on, I'd like to see, I know we don't have an agent right now, but when we do have an agent, I'd like the board to discuss what the agent can do administratively as an emergency. We have a lot of emergency tree removals where the trees hit the house and folks are waiting 2 weeks, but if we have an agent, he should be able to go out and sign that emergency by himself. And right now, even if we had an agent, our conservation department doesn't have that authority. But I'd like to see our agent have those authorities in an emergency situation administratively to do it and then bring it in front of the board for us.
I'll let you finish.
And then the second note, bringing up Melanie's point of RDA or NOI tonight, really think about what do we want to see in the RDA with conditions so we don't have to spend that money on the NOIs. Like, as detailed as possibly could be.
Okay, so those are great ideas. Let's put them on paper, we can discuss them. I'm going to disagree with you. Well, first of all, I have no idea what the status is of the agent. I don't know that Kathy does. I have no idea.
I think last time I heard Cody was going to look into other towns as far as sharing an agent.
Okay, I will follow that up to see where we are with that. But I disagree as far as emergency powers. The agent and board members, under certain circumstances, they have the ability to issue orders. The key is if it's, depending on the order, a notice of intent, an after-the-fact filing could be made. In a lot of cases, if you got a tree that comes down on a house and you need to get it off and it's in the buffer zone, they need to pull the stump, then the applicant can do an after-the-fact, okay, which is fine. There's other issues that if it's an enforcement action, that becomes a little different, because on an enforcement action, a member can, but that has to be ratified at the next meeting. So the agent does have all those powers. He doesn't get them from our regulations, he gets them from the Wetlands Protection Act.
Okay.
So they do have the powers. And hopefully if you get an experienced, well, I don't know if you can get an experienced agent, but you can get an agent that'll go through the regulations, you'll find that it's pretty powerful. I think the key is which direction does the commission want to go? You don't want anybody in the 50? Fine. What are you going to do for signage? What are you going to do for replication areas? RDAs with conditions or NOIs with conditions? I have yet to see a standard order of conditions. Have any of you guys seen the standard order of conditions? Okay.
We do have one.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
Okay, so
The template.
we'll look at that standard order of conditions, but as part of an NOI and the whole process, we should be looking at, and each member should be looking at, what particular supplemental orders that you want to include, whether it be the tree planting or whether it be rain gardens or all that other stuff. So, want to pay some bills? Cool. I haven't seen the bills, but it looks like that we have an invoice W24-1935-1, peer review for ecosystems. I'm looking for a motion to pay that bill. Do we know how much it is? Okay, I'll ask her to add that the next time.
Ecosystem.
Ecosystems?
I think that was that one.
And
Put a motion that we,
$2,875.
$3,875. I would be looking for a motion to pay that bill.
I put a motion that we pay the bill for ecosystems.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to go 4-0. I wasn't part of that, so we're going to have, I will be abstaining. And we have two legal ads, which I'm going to bundle together. A legal ad number 15449 for the amount of $45 for advertising, and a legal ad of 15502 for 36th Avenue for $45, and I'm looking for a motion to approve those.
I put a motion that we approve the Express newspaper invoices.
Second it.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to go 4-0, I'm going to abstain. Meeting minutes for April 23rd. I did not have them in the package, and I would not vote on them. But are the meeting minutes in the package?
They are.
They are. Is everyone that's, I don't know who was at that meeting, but if everyone that was at the meeting is okay with that, then I'll take a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
I don't think I've had a chance to read them. Were they emailed to us? If you don't mind, can I scan them real quick?
No, you can scan them quick, or we can,
Before I do that, can I back up for 1 second? Because
Sure.
I'm just confused as to why we are paying for the peer review for ecosystems for Maryland's Landing rather than them paying for it.
okay, they are paying for it, but they're required to make the payment to the town, which is put into an account, which the Conservation Commission has, that we're the only ones authorized to pay out of that.
Okay, thank you.
Right, Kathy? Yes. Back to I will not sign these.
Okay.
I think you got enough signatures.
Yeah, you just need
Kathy, does the chair typically, do you need 3 signatures, or, okay.
Do you need everybody's? No, you don't need everybody's.
I wasn't here to participate, so no. Maybe what we ought to look at is, in some instances, and we'll have to check with the accountant, that once the board votes, and you can have the chair sign or one member sign. And that might make it a little easier.
Yeah.
Where I wasn't here, I think you guys are fine.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
inside of our actions to be taken folder for discussion, there's a sticky note to review 266 Monpont Street. It needs a plan. 106 South Street. and
Okay,
number-
just bear with me.
It's in this book.
It's in this book?
Is it in this?
Where is it?
No, it's a sticky note inside of the folder.
So we could put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Yeah.
If I could just take a quick look at it.
It's just.
Yeah, it's just a sticky note.
And what's it say?
To
Is it-
review 266 Ponset Street needs a plan. The second note for us is 106 South Street. And then number 3 is audio-visual plan presentation.
Yes, I asked that to be put on the agenda, and typically, where it's not on the agenda, I think the chair has a discretion. I'm not going to be looking for a vote, but I would like to discuss it. I did spend some time with Caesar, and I've watched all your meetings, and I know you've had difficulties with seeing the plans, so forth and so on. Through that screen, they have the ability, as long as someone's going to be trained, that we can take plans, letters, put right on the screen, everybody can read them, if the board is kind of amenable to that.
I think that would be lovely.
Yeah, instead of, I know you're looking for an easel, I called them earlier to get the easel, but, okay, if that's okay, I don't really think we need a vote on that. Again, 266 Monpont, I got the reviews back on that, and we're not going to take any votes on that, and I'm going to ask the admin to make sure that that is added to the agenda, but it's got to have a time sequence.
Okay.
Under stormwater management, this commission only has a certain amount of time to act on that once the plan is completed.
Okay.
So it should appear on the agenda with all the dates that we must comply with, otherwise they get a constructive grant. But I'll talk to Peggy. What was the other one? 266?
106 South Street. 106 of South was on the agenda tonight.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And then
This is just for Ed to sign.
with MS 40.
Last thing is that.
Wait a minute, let's, okay, before we continue, we haven't gotten through the meeting minutes? We okay? Are you okay with the meeting minutes? Okay.
You need to go through.
I'll be looking for a vote to accept the April 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes.
I put a motion in to accept the April 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes as written.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah, there's only 3 signatures.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it's going to be 3 302. You're going to abstain.
Yes.
Okay, 302. Okay, I don't have it, but I think we did see some discussion about an emergency gas repair at 179 Oak Street. And I'm not sure, do we sign off on road permits? Do we get an actual application?
We should have something to sign on.
Did we sign something last meeting?
We did, is this a
Melody signed?
There was something last meeting, but I don't remember the address of it.
Yeah, there was a cutoff for it, yeah.
Okay, what I would be looking for is a motion to approve, if everybody's okay, the road request for 179 Oak Street by Eversource Gas, and that if the paperwork comes in and needs to be signed prior to them doing it, that they allow the chair to sign it.
Okay, I'll make a motion as stated.
So moved. Okay.
Oh, so moved.
Any second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay. No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain, because of Eversource.
Okay, so we have 401. Is there any other business before us? Okay. It's 9:15. I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm always looking to stay later. No, I'm just kidding. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay. No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.